All right, so we are live down here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We just saw, we were just at the hearing to dismiss the indictment with prejudice. One of the things I want to say here while we're getting everyone in here is that 7 of the jurors from this trial came as witnesses today to see for themselves how it was going to end. They came as a team and saw it through. And for them, I want to say thank you so much. People like you make this country what it is, our judicial system, which is completely broken, but we're seeing something coming of it today. No sound. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me right now? Can someone let me know if they can hear me? One person said that they have no sound, but okay, sounds great. Okay, so I'm starting over again. Like I said, 7 of the jurors from this trial came back together in a group. They were here early because there was a long line of people waiting to get in. They came to see the outcome because they wanted to see it all the way through. And for them, I've got to say that this is amazing because the jury is the reason that our system, there's checks and balances in our judicial system. The jury is the last checks and balance, and we saw 7 of these individuals come back to see what happened today. Okay, so we're going to go into, immediately the first thing I noticed, there's more people behind in the defendant's side. The Las Vegas Review-Journal had a lawyer inside. That lawyer is arguing. They have a 15-minute break right now, and they are going to argue to unseal everything so that everyone can see the evidence that has been going on. So that is going to happen. It could be happening right now because we've got a 15-minute break before Las Vegas Review-Journal lawyer is inside. But I noticed that they were different when they announced everyone's names this morning. So then they went through the motions that they were going to talk about. They had motion 2883 and then the public version, because that's a sealed version. And the public version is 3057. This goes down. There's a lot of different motions. Obviously, 3085, the motion to dismiss with double jeopardy. The double jeopardy dismissal, she goes through and gives the reasons why it's not double jeopardy. She says there was no verdict given, so they can retry these people. Then she goes to, sorry, there's noise going by, so I'm going to kind of let this go by. There's 3 different ways that this motion to dismiss. One, it was double jeopardy, dismissal on government conduct. The court does find that the government did hold evidence, but they didn't hold evidence as a strategy. So there's the second time they say, no, we're not going to dismiss because they held it, because it obviously wasn't held as a strategy. But the third way, due process, outrageous government conduct, so grossly shocking or so egregious that the due process cannot be committed or can't be achieved. So this is where the judge says she believes that this is the grounds, and she tells why. The court finds the evidence was withheld was grossly shocking. The defense could have had a self-defense if they could present evidence of snipers, and the prosecution knew this, yet they did not overturn this evidence. The prosecution claims the FBI didn't overturn the evidence to them, but it is the prosecution's job to seek out beneficial evidence for the defense, which they failed to do. In here today, I heard the judge. She is talking poorly on the prosecution. She's talking poorly on the FBI. She says, this is fraudulent misbehavior, prosecutorial misconduct, and the court found multiple Brady violations, that they withheld exculpatory evidence that would have been beneficial for the defense. She talks about 302s from Ranker, the FBI TOC log, the FBI threat assessments, all of these things coming from the FBI. The prosecution has a duty to ensure the defense has everything they need to get a fair trial. Their duty, the prosecution's duty, is to ensure a fair trial, not ensure a win. So she is saying here that obviously what the prosecution was doing was trying to ensure the win. The prosecution and the FBI colluded together to ensure this win, instead of the prosecution doing the job that they are sworn to do, which is ensure a fair trial, not ensure wins. The prosecution's reckless disregard to its constitutional duties. This came from Gloria Navarro's mouth multiple times. The prosecution's reckless disregard to its constitutional duties to hand over every piece of evidence favorable to the defense has happened here. Reckless disregard of its constitutional duties. The court wants to know why the FBI hid evidence of snipers in such a strange place on a thumb drive in a truck for 3 years. So apparently all this missing evidence, proof of snipers, she said in the missing evidence, they refer to them as snipers multiple times. The cameras, the snipers, the threat assessments, the 302 reports. They also used tactics, and this is the prosecution using tactics, saying things like, the snipers were never deployed or they were merely training, was a misrepresentation of the evidence and goes to the egregious and reckless misappropriation of the evidence. So here they have dismissed the case for Cliven, Ammon, Ryan Payne, and Ryan Bundy. Cliven will walk free today. As I left the courtroom, he was hugging Carol. He was hugging his family for the first time in 2 years. He is going to get to walk free today. Ryan Payne does have to, everyone else, Ammon and Ryan Bundy, they're having their trackers taken off. They are out of any court-held watch. They are free to go. Cliven Bundy is free to go. Ryan Payne, unfortunately, has to report directly to the pretrial services and figure out what Anna Brown is going to do with him. There is a February 24th, and don't mark me on that date. It's somewhere February 20th something, but we're thinking 24th. Calendar call for the next tier. So what does this mean for the people that have already gone through? What does this mean for Greg Burleson? What does this mean for Todd Engel? What does this mean for Eric Parker and Scott Drexler? Because these Brady violations, this egregious activity happened in 2 trials for them. This is double jeopardy for them because actual verdicts were read in both trials. This information, this prosecutorial misconduct, the FBI misconduct that the judge was talking about on the bench happened in these 2 trials. So what is this going to do for them? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and bring my stuff. I'm going to, and Jerry DeLoomis as well, absolutely. Don't forget Jerry DeLoomis. All of these people that were coerced into taking these plea deals, Micah McGuire, how are they going to go back? Because if you're hiding exculpatory evidence, let's go back to what she said. This is my favorite quote. This is going to be my new quote because, you know, I always thought that this judge was definitely going for the prosecution, but this gives me some hope in our justice system. To have the judge sit on the bench and say multiple times the prosecution's reckless disregard to its constitutional duties to turn over evidence favorable to the defense. They have a, let's see here. Let me find it. They have a duty to the Constitution, to the court system, and to the judicial system to make sure there is a fair trial, not a win. She said that. To ensure a fair trial, not a win. and that is not what has happened here. She demolished both the prosecution and the FBI in this case, and she is definitely taking a turn. They are not going to be able to retry Cliven Bundy, Ammon Bundy, Ryan Bundy, or Ryan Payne on this. They are going forward with a calendar call for the next trial, but we don't know what kind of motions will be entered. We also don't know what kind of motions are going to be entered for these guys. So what we need to do, our job is not done here. We need to keep pushing for Todd Engel, for Jerry DeLoomis, for Greg Burleson, for Scott Drexler, for Eric Parker, because they also need to be overturned. They need to be released from all of their restrictions and released from prison. Now, the only people left in prison are Jerry DeLoomis, Greg Burleson, and Todd Engel. We need to get these guys out. So, and then they have a calendar call for the next here, but like I said, they can file motions and things. It has started to rain. I'm going to turn this off, go back over to where everyone else is, and restart over there. I know Cliven Bundy, like I said, he was upstairs hugging everyone. I don't know how long it's going to take for him to come outside, but he will be released from here today. We have seen justice today. We have seen justice. We have seen the judge tell the prosecution that you have a constitutional duty to ensure a fair trial for American citizens, and you did not do that. Your actions were so egregious and so shocking that we are dismissing this indictment for those 4 men. So let's have it dismissed for everyone, not just those 4 men. So I will catch you again in just a minute. Over with everyone else.